just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass. We're listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. Darling, you look perfect tonight.
Well, I found a man stronger than anyone I know. He shares my dreams. I hope that someday we'll share our home. I found love to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. I know we'll be alright this time. Darling, just hold my hand. Be your girl, you'll be my man. And I see my future in your eyes. Well, baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, while listening to our favorite song. When I saw you in that dress, looking so beautiful, I don't deserve this. Darling, you look perfect tonight. No, no, no. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, while listening to our favorite song. I have faith in what I see. Now I know I have met an angel in person, and she looks perfect. I don't deserve it. You look perfect tonight.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp I I turned my collar to the cold and damp when my eyes were stared by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs and voices never shared. And no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms and I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out his warning, and the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words on the prophets are written on the subway walls, and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
If I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I go, but I know I'll think of you every step of the way. And I will always love you. Will always love you. You, my darling, you. Bittersweet memories. That is all I'm taking with me. So goodbye. Please don't cry. We both know I'm not what you need. And I will.
Hello, everyone. If I could have your attention for just a moment, please. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'll do my best to speak a little louder because I'm a little bit vertically challenged. My name is Glenn, a member of the staff here at the funeral home. And on behalf of the family, what a lovely turnout. Thank you all for being present. And at this time, we are going to be having words of remembrance. Okay. You're all nicely gathered in a circle. That's perfect. So without further ado.
Thank you. I'll hide behind my glasses. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for being here to remember Laura. I'd also like to thank everyone for the support you've given us. Kathy, Megan, and I are extremely grateful. Several people have requested to speak, and so you'll hear from her sister, some extended family members, and friends. This will be followed by a slideshow highlighting Laura's life. Laura was a very unique and beautiful person. She lived her life according to her rules and was unapologetic for her actions. Although Laura and I often agreed to disagree or thoroughly butted heads, I admired her for her tenacity and I was proud of her determination. Laura was many things, but her artistic talent stands out. She was an accomplished artist who taught herself how to draw pencil portraits. A few of her examples of the work are here for you to look at. Given that she was barely capable of drawing a stick person in high school, her progression was really quite amazing. Laura also enjoyed crocheting, and I'm sure many of our neighbors remember her walking along the road, crocheting one kind of animal or another. She was eventually able to turn her work into a successful cottage industry, selling stuffed crochet animals and other crafts she had made. Laura struggled with anxiety and depression from a young age, and although it was always there in the background, she didn't let it slow her down. Laura did well in high school and graduated from college. She had an outgoing personality, easily striking up conversations with people that she would meet. Laura also remained very close to her high school friends, Meredy and Pina, and your friendship was a big source of comfort to her. Laura's favorite animal was the hummingbird. She liked it so much she had one tattooed on her side. Then, in typical Laura fashion, she immediately freaked out and wanted to have it removed. It took a while, but eventually she calmed down and decided to keep it. It is therefore very fitting that a close family friend wrote this about Laura. Laura reminded me of a hummingbird. She hovered in life with frenetic energy, amazed us, and then was gone. It is just incredibly sad that Laura's illness stole her identity and then, ultimately, her life. There is a line in a song that goes, "There is a calm in the chaos. You will know it when it finds you." I hope, kiddo, that you have found that place of calm.
I guess I'll follow Al's lead and, say thank everybody for being here today because, Laura was a very special person and obviously the net that she casted was very wide for the people that were important to her and the people that she affected in her life. Now, Laura meant a lot to her family. She was adored by all of her aunts, all of her uncles, and of course her cousins, myself included. So today I've been asked by both my Aunt Holly and my parents, who unfortunately are on the other side of the world today, to just say a few words in her honor and a tribute to Laura. So I'll start on a bit of a lighter note, just a brief funny story with Laura. Back when the Sopers used to live in the Burlington area, my father would regularly have to travel to that town on business. And, the Sopers, being as generous and open as they are, would always ask, "Hey, why don't you stay with us?" So when my father and Kathy would get together, routinely their nights would be spent, walking up and down the aisles of a Blockbuster looking for a film to rent. For those under 20, you might not know what a Blockbuster is, but that's besides the point. But if you've ever tried to pick out a movie to watch with Kathy, you know that's a difficult process. So inevitably, when they did find a movie to watch, the showtime was always well after 9 o'clock at night. By the time they started playing the movie, about 30 minutes in, Al would retire and go off to bed. And then inevitably, halfway through the film, Laura would come down just to see what all the fuss was about. Now, Laura had a very good sense of timing, so she would invariably come down to see what was on the television right during a sappy romantic scene or a dramatic shootout, or maybe even perhaps when the monster or alien was to pop onto the screen. So with her timing, she'd always come down, and her reaction was always the same. It was, "Ew, what are you guys watching?" And Kathy would try to convince her to stay and tell her about the plot and the movie and the characters. And, Laura always marched to the beat of her own drum. So her response would usually be, "That's not my cup of tea." And she would go off to bed as well. So while Laura was not much of a movie watcher or a movie buff, she would rather spend her time on her own creative endeavors. And she focused on, the artwork that you see scattered all across this room here today. We will always cherish and keep every memory and every memento left behind, and we will miss her now and always. And that's just a little anecdote from my folks, Dan and Suzanne, or Uncle Dan and Aunt Suzanne, as Laura would call them. One other tribute I will read is from Laura's Aunt Holly. Holly resides down in Australia, so naturally can't be with us here today, but I'll read some of the kind words that Holly had shared with me. "When I think of Laura, I think of so many words that defined who she was to me. An intelligent, sensitive, creative, and strong person. She had an inquiring mind and a remarkable capacity to learn and master new things. From crocheting and painting to macrame and knitting, all of which was self-taught." Pardon me. "She was caring and kind with a deep love for children, animals, and people from all walks of life. Her artistic talent shone in all the beautiful portraits she created. Her determination and spirit had shown in everything that she did. Whether it was holding her ground in a debate, whether it was mastering a new yoga pose, or standing tall on a paddleboard. Her fresh raspberry and rhubarb pies at the cottage will always be part of our family's sweetest memories. But alongside these gifts, Laura faced a battle. She faced a battle throughout her life against anorexia, an illness that slowly took hold and started to overshadow some of the vibrant and creative soul that we all grew to love. It was cruel, it was relentless, and yet she fought it. And she fought it with dignity every step of the way. She fought it with every ounce of strength that she had, and then she ultimately fought it until she could not. Even though we were oceans apart, Laura's spirit was and will always remain close to me, and I'll remember her laughter, her courage, and her love, always. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Jenny, and Laura was my cousin. We're here today to remember and celebrate the life of Laura. Laura and Megan were like sisters to Dan and I. We grew up together, being pretty close in age. We even lived down the street from each other when we lived in Calgary for 2 years. We were young, 5 or 6 at the time, I think. And I remember running to and from her house after school, playing outside and doing crafts together. These are all great memories, but my most favorite memories with Laura were summertime at Blue Sea Lake. We would spend hours every day together playing outside and exploring. I would take the little tin boat over to the Puttick's cottage to pick up Laura, and we'd be gone for the whole day, exploring islands, going to see Danielle and Joey at the Pittman's cottage. We'd walk down the bike path and we would use a loonie to buy 100 penny candies at the corner store. Laura loved the outdoors. It's where she seemed to find peace and inspiration. Nowhere was she happier than at Blue Sea Lake. Surrounded by nature, fresh air, and just the calmness of it all seemed to reflect her gentle spirit. She was very quirky and funny. She had the best laugh. She made everyone around her smile, and she really cared a lot about the people she loved. Her family and friends were so important to her. It's so nice to see you all here today. She never missed a birthday celebration unless she has to, especially her own. Even in the tough times when her illness prevented her from attending birthday parties or holiday celebrations, she always found other ways to make her friends and family feel special, creating beautiful art that she so generously gifted to us. I'm sure many of you have something from Laura. She handmade me many things that I now cherish so much. She gave them to my children, but I'm hoarding them from them. She made like the most beautiful baby blanket for my daughter, Lucy. It means so much to me. Her creativity wasn't just a hobby. It was really an expression of who Laura was. She was thoughtful, patient, and full of innocence and wonder. So when I remember Laura, I choose to remember her for her warm smile, her laughter, and the light that she brought into every moment. She's creative, gentle, and just full of kindness. So I love you, Laura. Thank you.
Okay, try and do this without crying. So Laura was my best friend. My name's Merity. We met in grade 9, and I can't remember exactly how we met, but we became instant friends. I always admired her, her sense of humor, her artistic talent, and her little quirks that made her her. Like how she'd eat a whole avocado with a spoon in the cafeteria, and how much she loved peanut butter. Laura was the one who introduced me to Starbucks. She'd often show up with frappuccinos for our group. Later in life, she'd laugh and wonder how on earth she ever afforded to do that with what Starbucks charges. Some of my favorite memories are from the time her uncle visited from Ottawa. I was always invited over for Spice's Indian takeout. We went to Taylor Swift concerts together, camped at the Pinery, and even once slept on the street in Toronto to get Much Music Award wristbands. She taught me how to French braid my hair and once called me out of the blue to say, I just won us tickets to meet Hilary Duff. One night on her way home, she stopped on the side of Kearns Road to pick wildflowers. I was so worried when she didn't text me to say she got home. That was just Laura, always finding the beauty in the little things, even if it meant stopping in the dark to gather a handful of flowers. There was one time I begged her to come over and she said, "Only if you have ketchup chips." I didn't. So I took regular chips and poured ketchup all over them. When she arrived, I handed her a bowl of soggy chips covered in ketchup. She laughed and tried one anyway. Miss you, love you, bye. That's how we always ended our conversations and how I'll always remember her.
My name is Aislinn, Merity's sister, and Laura was such an important part of our family. My mom, Maureen, had planned on being here today, but she's really sick with the flu, so I'm going to speak on her behalf. Laura was like a daughter to me. We would text several times during the week. If she didn't hear from me, she would let me know, "Hey, what's going on?" And I would say the same. Laura and Merity were best friends, sisters really. All the sleepovers, camping trips to Grand Bend, Halloween adventures, and family dinners, including Kathy and Al. I remember the one summer the heat was so intense and the bugs so bad at the pinery that most of us packed up and came home, but not Merity and Laura. They stuck it out for 2.5 weeks. Real troopers. Laura used to dress up at Halloween and sit outside our house, wait for the kids to come to the door, and boo. They loved it, and so did we. Her artistic talent never ceased to amaze me. I, who still draw stick people, was awe-inspired at how she could take a photo and sketch it to perfection. Her crocheting was wonderful. She knew I loved giraffes and asked me one day why I loved them so much. I said, because they have long necks, and so do I. They are different and interesting, strong and gentle, all rolled into one. She said to me, "Those are all the same qualities I see in you." I have one of her giraffes on my bed, and it has been there since the day she gave it to me. My mom passed away in 2020, and one day, not long after she passed, I was really missing her. I told Laura, and this was her reply to me. "I bet you do and always will. Remind yourself of the everlasting presence each of us carries onward. Where we start our journey here is where we end, and our eternal existence lives on through our souls. I think every day you can find ways to see her in your life shining through and remind yourself she's here with you always. Words were never truer, and we love you, Laura Kathleen."
Hello, my name is Shona. My husband, our 4 children, and I were fortunate to have known Laura her whole life. We were neighbors of Al, Kathy, and Megan in Sheridan homelands. Megan and our sons, Jason and Matthew, became friends. Then Kathy and I were pregnant with Laura due in October and Nicole in December. There were many special moments watching our older children growing and the babies first sitting up, walking, and then running. As the years went on, Homelands was a wonderful place to raise a family. We had great neighbors, some older, some younger. There were street parties, Halloween, and Christmas gatherings. As Laura grew up, her curly hair and high-pitched voice could be heard and seen throughout the neighborhood. Laura, Nicole, and eventually Allison, our youngest, would drive our kitty Jeep up and down the sidewalks. We saw the adventurous side of Laura as she navigated that Jeep. They would draw pictures and deliver to mailbox of a few of the older couples to brighten their day. That was Laura showing her kindness. Not sure what Laura and Nicole were thinking when they reached through the neighbor's frost fence, pulling out all her flowers. Nicole remembers they were making mud pies. Kathy took them both to apologize to the neighbor, a lesson to be learned. When the Sopers moved to Calgary, we were all sad. Nicole even had to visit her in Calgary. Thankfully, they returned and lived in Burlington. Laura, Nicole, and Allison's relationship flourished as teenagers. They were the first of the Swifties before Taylor became a megastar. Nicole and Allison reminded me of a story that showed Laura's courageous nature. Although no one will admit who initiated it, Laura and Nicole went out of Laura's bedroom window, jumped from the garage roof into the swimming pool. Their form was a 10 out of 10. Over the years, we saw Laura become more creative, sketching beautiful portraits, crocheting beautiful outfits, and making gorgeous jewelry. Laura always thinking of others, sending baby outfits to our grandchildren, and beautiful jewelry for me. I am wearing one of the sets of earrings and necklace that she sent me. We were blessed to have her a part of our family. We know she is at peace, and we will miss her forever. Thank you.
I apologize in advance. If anyone knows me, I'm like the long-winded one, so my speech isn't quite as short, but thank you everyone for being here today to remember my sister Laura. Our family has been truly overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support we've received, not just today, but throughout the past month. You have held us up with your calls, your emails, your messages, the meals you dropped off, or the flowers you sent. For all of that, for surrounding us with such care, I am so grateful. I also want to acknowledge two people in particular, my aunts Kathy Betwell and Sue Briard. You showed up for us and cared for us and helped us figure out the details of the funeral today so that we could just focus on grieving. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Grief is one of the hardest parts of life. The first few days after Laura passed, the grief was so big, and I remember thinking, how am I ever going to move past this pain and sadness? How am I going to support my parents as they grieve the loss of their daughter? Something no parent at any age should ever have to do. And then I came across a quote that really resonated with me. It said, "Grief in its simplest form is really just love with nowhere to go." That line gave me something to hold on to. Writing this speech, sitting down to think about my sister, has been my way of giving that love somewhere to go. Many of you here today will remember Laura for her artistic spirit, her drawings and paintings, her love of crocheting, yoga, and gardening. She was always learning something new, always creating, always finding beauty in the world around her. And while those are things I deeply admired about her, my favorite memories are us when we were younger, growing up together. From the beginning, I can say Laura was feisty, curious, and bold, and maybe just a little bit mischievous. I remember one time when she was about 6 or 7 years old, she went over to her next door neighbors and asked to borrow sugar, flour, and chocolate chips, only to go home and make chocolate chip cookies, return to the same neighbor's house, and try to sell them her cookies. Laura was always walked on the fringes of life. She didn't conform, and although it could drive me crazy, I think I was always a bit envious of it. She had wild curly hair as a child and an energy to match it. In kindergarten, she would show up to school in a bathing suit over leggings and a tutu and rain boots. My mom would get calls about that. Or later in life, in the years of parties, she would come, but she wouldn't drink because that wasn't her thing, and she wasn't going to just do it to just fit in. When we lived in Calgary, our family spent our weekends downhill skiing. I remember she would often stress my parents out because instead of carefully turning her way down a hill, she would point her skis straight down and bomb the hill, as we used to say. I am so thankful for those weekends and then the annual ski trips we would go on each winter. They will forever be some of my favorite memories together. She loved the people in her life fiercely. She loved her family, her aunts and uncles and cousins, and was so proud when she became an aunt to my two girls. Every time we would see each other, she would have some toy or treat or craft that she had picked up from her favorite store, Dollarama. She also deeply cared about her friends. I want to thank some of those friends that came here all the way from Toronto today. Nicole, Meredy, Pina, the whole Fagnotti family, Allison. I know that so many of her favorite memories are the times you spent together. It is hard to sum up your memories of someone so important in your life in one speech. All of my childhood memories, she is there. She is my sister. The Christmas mornings running into each other's room to go wake up her parents. Spending summer days at the cottage at Blue Sea Lake or playing with our cousins. arguing over clothes and time in the bathroom in our teen years, and many family vacations together. Being as sisters is a relationship like no other. It is built on shared history, memories, silly arguments, endless laughter, and sometimes tears. We saw the best and worst of each other and loved each other through it all. It's a bond that can't be broken, not by time, not by distance, and not even by loss. As many of you know, my sister struggled with mental health challenges and an eating disorder for much of her life. For many of us, myself included, there were times when it was hard to fully understand what she was going through. But what I know is that it must have taken an incredible amount of courage and strength to face those battles every single day. There have been times when I felt deep anger and heartbreak, watching how her illness seemed to take her away from us little by little. But I know now how hard she tried to fight every day against it. Another part of me wanting to speak today was to take a moment to acknowledge my parents. Loving and caring for someone who struggles with mental illness can be painful and complicated, and it can take a toll on those who care most deeply about the person. To my dad, you made sure she had a home and security, family trips filled with memories. And in the last few years, when she was in and out of the hospital quite a bit, you were a medical advocate for her. Laura's ashes are enclosed in a beautiful box made by my dad, and I know that would mean a lot to her. And to my mom, you were Laura's best friend, her comfort, her safe place. As a mother, I know how much you want to protect your children, and you were trying to protect Laura through all her pain. You were two peas in a pod. She could always make you laugh, and I think she truly held on as long as she did for you. Earlier, I spoke about grief. I know it's something that never truly goes away, but maybe the point isn't to try to get through it. Maybe it's to focus on the love that sits underneath it. Because in the end, and to quote one of Laura's favorite quotes, there is only one happiness in this life, to love and be loved. So as we remember Laura today, I hope we can hold on to that, to love and be loved. That's what she wanted most, and it's what she gave so freely. My family has put together a slideshow of memories of Laura that I want to invite you to watch with us. And thank you again to everyone for being here to support my family. It's been overwhelming, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Beautiful me, yeah. Lost dreams
Yep.
everything fades because it's all over now, all out to sea. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You were bigger than the whole sky. You were more than just a short time. And I've got a lot to fight about. I've got a lot to live without. I'm never gonna be what could have been, would have been, what should have been. Could have, would have been. Did some bird flap its wings over in Asia? Did some force take you because I didn't pray? Every single thing to come has turned into ashes. 'Cause it's all over, it's not meant to be. So I say words I don't believe. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You were bigger than the whole sky. You were than just a short time. I've got a lot to fight for. I've got a lot to live without. I'm never gonna be what could have been, would have been, what should have been. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You were bigger than the whole sky. You were more than just a short time. And I've got a lot to pine about. I've got a lot to live without. I'm never gonna meet what could have been, would have been, what should have been.
Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only thing that I know. When it gets hard, you know it can get hard sometimes. It is the only thing that makes us feel alive. We keep this love in a photograph. We made these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts are never broken, and time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home. Loving can heal. Loving can mend your soul. And it's the only thing that I know. I swear it will get easier. Remember that with every piece of you. And it's the only thing we take with us when we die. Keep this love in a photograph. We made these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts were never broken, time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. You hurt me. It's okay, baby. Only words inside these pages. You just hold me. I won't ever let you go. Wait for me to come home. 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 You feel inside them, 'cause you got me when I was 16. Makes it hard that I should be keeping deep in your soul. And if you hurt me, it's okay, baby. Only words inside these pages you just hold.
It still comes back. It still comes back.